Hey everybody, I'm Jamie Coventry, also known as Big Riggin' Bear, and this is my first stream here, so you're going to have to bear with me a little bit. I don't know how well this is going to work with the bounce of the truck and the traffic that I'm currently sitting in, but I just want to use this to get to know everybody, or for everybody to get to know me a little bit here, and kind of get a preparation for my upcoming show that I'm planning to start after the first of the year here. Still trying to figure out how to. There we go. Hey, Andrew. Nice to see you here. It's going to be a little interesting here. We might not go very long today just because it's a test. We're going to see how it is. But like I said, I'm Jamie Coventry. I live in northern Minnesota. I obviously drive truck for a living. And I'm just really kind of looking forward to sharing a little bit of what goes on in my personal life, as well as, like I said, the upcoming show. It's going to be called Face to Face with a Bear, where I plan on interviewing a lot of bears. I've already gotten some pretty positive feedback about this, so I think we could have a pretty successful show here. Just getting to know all of the different bears that are part of the community, and what it means to be a bear, and just how real every single bear out there is. Okay, looks like Andrew's hanging out. That's cool. Appreciate the compliment there. How's the vibration on the camera? Is that a big deal yet? Obviously, I'm still pretty slow here for stop and go traffic, but I think it's not too bad. We'll keep going. I'm a dad. I have 5 boys, 2 from a first marriage and 3 from my current marriage. They're 3, 7, and 10. Really good kids. The oldest one is smart as a tack. The youngest one is strong as an ox. So it was kind of funny. The wife and I, when she was pregnant with the latest young boy there, we often sat and pondered about how, the older 2, they were so different that, Hayden is very cautious. He's my oldest. Extremely cautious. He's so cautious that I like to share the story of when we were potty training him. He was so cautious and so worried about getting hurt or any. No girls in the family future here. We're all done now. Okay, not sure what happened there. I haven't said anything controversial yet, so the YouTube gremlins can't be trying to nail me off yet. But no, like I was saying, the oldest one, he's so cautious and so leery of everything new and unexpected that when we were potty training. Okay, obviously I got some bugs to work out here. I'm not sure exactly what's going on here, why it keeps kicking me off. My service is good. We should be okay there. We'll see. If it does too many times, we'll just scrap this one and see if we can pick it up later. I don't know, it's probably got something to do with all the meltdowns Owen has with the bit rates or whatever, but looks like we've got 2 with us right now. It was 3 just a minute ago, so we'll see if we can keep going here. But yeah, the biggest, the oldest one doesn't want me to tell this story, but Yeah, he didn't want to pee standing up because it was too dangerous. I do have a lot of road to cover. I've got about a 2.5 hour drive back from where I'm at right now before I get back to our yard, and then after I get my truck and trailer put away, then I got about a 45-minute drive, 40 to 45-minute drive home after there. So I still got a while to play around with this. But then the youngest one, or the middle boy, the youngest at the time, he was just extremely independent, fearless, would walk right off the couch rather than sliding down like most kids do. He face plant right onto the carpet and just get up, keep right on and going. So we sat and pondered about how there's a gear. We sat and pondered about how if the oldest one was the way he was and the youngest one was the way he was, what was the newest one going to be like? You know, which one was he going to take after more? And that's the amazing thing about kids. He's not like either one of them. He's a completely different individual. Has now I got nobody watching. I guess the glitches must have chased everybody off, but that's okay. I'll keep doing this here now and post it up to the channel, and we'll see if we can work out the bugs and figure out why in the heck it keeps dropping me. But hey, okay. Well, why is it showing nobody watch? Jeez, I'm telling you. Well, thanks, Andrew. I appreciate you sticking around here. It's going to be like you said, a process. I am not technologically savvy at all. I mean, I'm old school. I like a rotary phone and a tablet and a piece of paper. That's when tablets had the wire rings around them. Not the tablets my kids have now, but no, like I said, I'm a father of an active father of 3. The older 2, that's a different story for a different stream. What's that say? I flip on the oh, okay. Well, nice to see you flip. Appreciate it. We'll talk about that one at a later date. That's a whole other ball of worms that I'm not even certain I'm going to get into anytime soon here. But then, like I said, I'm 43 years old. Just turned 43 last Saturday. That's not really a big deal to me. Numbers nothing but an age after you turn 21 before you turn 65. So I think anybody can do whatever their potential is regardless of their age. I am active in the church in my town where hey Debbie, appreciate you sticking out. We're having little troubles with the stream off and on, so I'll kick that one to the back burner and we'll catch up with that one later. But no, like I said, active in my church. We're an ELCA Lutheran church. I stick that one out because the Big Rig is getting Soros. That's awesome. Yeah, no, that was actually my wife. I'll call her back. It was not a big deal. She'll be fine with it. She's on her way home from work, just checking in. So going home probably just left daycare, picking up the youngest one. So we're an ELCA Lutheran church. It's a little bit of a sticky situation being as conservative as I am. ELC is quite a bit more liberal, but I like to think of myself as the rock trying to keep the stream from going around me. But as long as I'm there, it's got to go around, and if it wears me down and washes away, it's just free reign. So we, through activity in our synod and different letters and statements that they pass, we try to keep our church in the direction of biblical truth and not social preaching from social justice standpoints. I drive for a pretty small trucking company. We've got about 17 or 18 trucks. 3 of them are over the road. One of those is an owner-operator, so he's his own business. I'm a company driver. I drive a route in the Minneapolis-St. Paul area. So I get to deal with this wonderful evening rush hour traffic on my way home every night. It's not so bad in the morning because by the time I get down here, it's about a 2-hour to 2.5-hour drive depending on traffic on the way in, and a 2.5 to 3-hour and 15-minute drive. Yeah, I am driving. Probably shouldn't be, but I don't think this is any different than talking on the phone. I'm not concentrating on the chat, which I hope doesn't turn people off here, but I'm just going to keep talking. And if I catch them as they go through, I catch them. We do basically regional work up in Minnesota. Basically, if you draw an ice cream cone with a big dollop of ice cream on the top, you start with the point of the cone down on the Minneapolis area and run it up to Fargo and Duluth, and then kind of arc the top. That's our coverage area, our primary coverage area. Our Dom is from Minnesota? Oh, okay. I wasn't aware of that. I'll have to figure out where in the heck he's at. I live in northern Minnesota, about it's 2 hours and 45 minutes, 3 hours north of the Twin Cities metro area. Quiet little bedroom community. See, I start talking about the ELCA and my conservative views, and they start kicking me off. We're back now, it looks like, though. I don't know if it's a cell phone coverage issue or not. It shouldn't be. Like I said, I'm in the metro right now. I'm actually in the city of Plymouth, which is one of the Minneapolis-St. Paul suburbs. Talking about... he has a... Oh, well, I'll definitely have to figure out where Dom is at then, and maybe we can hang out sometime. Like I said, that's the biggest reason that I'm doing this stream now, is to get used to the streaming, get the bugs worked out, try and hone speaking skills. I know these guys that can talk for hours and hours, and I can too, but talking to myself is a little bit different of a story. And getting, like I said, getting the bugs worked out, seeing how well this is going to work. I plan on the interview program that so the Bear. That's going to be a once a week show. Better to talk about us than yourself. Okay, Andrew. Right now it's a little bit more difficult just because I am driving and can't really concentrate on the chat. Give you a shot of the traffic here, but I don't think that's a good idea either. But the biggest thing, like I said, with these shows is these first few, they're going to be random. I want to promote not only promote the show face to face with a bear, but also get bears interested in it and start getting some contacts together so I can start doing some pre-interviews and be able to make these interviews as interesting as possible, so we can really get to know each other and broaden our networking abilities and build the community, so that we know that the bears are just like us. You know, everybody's got their own talents to share. You look at all the different organically, exactly. You're gonna let this show kind of be the preemptive strike for face to face with bears, so we can see that we're all just normal people. we're not big celebrities like Owen or Gaybird Kreischer, Bybird Kreischer, or any of those guys. We're down to earth. We punch a time clock, or we work hard on companies, or okay, don't make me show these people how loud my horn is. We're just gonna move this along and see where it goes. If it works, great. You're not normal. Well, is that, oh, Debbie? Yeah. Well, perfect. Well, you're from down under anyway, aren't you, Debbie? The kind of the upside down end of the world. That's that's how we look at it up here in the northern hemisphere anyway. That's all upside down there. But it's, I mean, normal is relative, I guess, too. But, well, okay, here we go again. That's definitely going to have to be something that's worked out. And that's something I'm guessing is potentially a service coverage issue. I do have spots where this particular phone that I have, it's a LG G6. I don't recommend you get it. Their antenna is not the greatest. This is my second one. The first one got replaced because of a warranty issue. But the antenna just isn't good. And it has a very difficult... Okay, we're having fun. We're working how we're discovering bugs now. We'll see if we can get them worked out as soon as possible. It's not your phone, it's the web. Oh, okay. Well, like I said, we're right now we're in discovery phase. We're going to see if we can get these bugs identified and work them out as well as we can. Don't spoil. No, goodness, no. I know I suck at technology, and I got kids that are young enough they can help me figure out the bugs. I spiral over other stupid stuff like idiot drivers in traffic. It's not a big deal for the technology thing. Like I said, it's my first stream too, so I didn't expect anything from it. I'm not worried about whether or not it works or it doesn't, because I'm just going to keep plugging away at it, and we'll find better times to do it if this doesn't work, or we'll wait until I get it home and do it on the home computer. And word from there, I guess, is the next step. Like I said, I'm really shooting for right after the first of the year to start the face-to-face with a bear. So we're just gonna kind of explore this way for now and see if we can get it to where it's a little more enjoyable and a little less choppy. I know I get a little choppy here just because I can't understand why Owen spirals, though. This could get frustrating if a guy was putting too much stock in it. Owen started with a laptop. Yep, exactly. I'm starting with a phone. We start small and we let it grow and we see where it goes from there. Like I said, if it works great. I'm actually really excited to do this. This has been the best. Owen is crazy, and that's what we love about him. That's what I love about him, anyways. He's just crazy enough to be extremely interesting and entertaining, but he's not so crazy that you got to put him on the shelf and only bring him out at special occasions. That's I'm not quite as creative. It's funny too, because it seems to keep freezing on the same profile picture of my face. Well, what that's all about. Oh, this is going to be fun to reread through this chat afterwards. Looks like you guys are having a good time keeping it going too. But yeah, like I said, just getting to know everybody, I think, is going to be the that's the biggest reason I want to do the face-to-face with bears, is because there's so many cool people involved in free thinking and not being just a robot drone, not being just someone who can regurgitate talking. Man, Soros is gunning for me hard today, isn't he? No, just to take and get to know these people is the biggest thing that I'm excited about doing. You talk to people in the app, you talk to people in the live streams, and you get introduced to new live streams. Shout out to 1911 Bear, Stephen Pinder. Really enjoy his show and the call-in aspect of his show, so you get to hear the other people on that are in the chat room with you, and maybe get to expound a little bit on a point that's too difficult to make. What's my true name? My real name is James Coventry. I go by Jamie. My mom didn't want a Jim, so I go by Jamie. I think you can probably see it right there. But yeah, yep. Bears be awesome, that's for sure. That it's a great support group. It's a great network of people that. Hey, Debbie. It's a great network of people that have an extremely broad skill set and talent base, and I think that is something that's going to be very valuable moving forward. Even if there's not a major cataclysmic or apocalyptic event, just the fact that we can share our skills with other people, and even if they're not, like, for example, I really like to carve on wood. I'm not a great carver, but I've always wanted to get into chainsaw carving. I've got some friends that do that, but I've got a couple of small carving sets. One was my grandfather's. It's really special to me that I really like to carve with. I've got a little bit of an artistic flair there that with practice just continues to get better. And if I can offer those skills to people that want to give a Christmas gift to someone, or just thinking about you kind of gift, or have some knick-knack on their shelf, nothing huge. Those are the kind of things that, you might spend weeks shopping in a store to find the right thing, and if a bear can do it for you, and whether it's a pay service or a barter service, or just a hey, here's something for a friend type of thing. I mean, those are the kind of networks that make our community strong, and make that. In case I'm disconnected. Oh, okay. Longer messages, I'm sorry, I really can't get through. I'm still in fairly heavy traffic here. Before I get too far out of the city, it's still going to be a little rough here for probably the next 20 minutes or so, half an hour. After that, traffic thins out, and I can take another second or two to watch the chat. But like I said, we've got such a diverse skill set and a diverse talent base, that even things that you would have never even thought about, if you find out, well, this bear can do that, or this bear is looking for something that I can do that I haven't even mentioned before, that it's a community of like-minded, free-thinking, open-minded individuals that are willing to express their ideas and admit when they're wrong, and stand up for what's right, and also be a good, upstanding member of a community. And as that sentiment grows, and as that idea grows, we can always hope that it expands beyond just our community of the Bears. That I have great hope for this country. I think it's something that is not lost. I think it's slipping. I think we're stumbling on the path, but I think with just a little bit of community and oneness, the whole e pluribus unum of many one, we could be a part of what makes the United States a great country, and just strengthen that. I don't think it's going to take much to strengthen that. I think that finding out that in this world of technology, we get, and I fell prey to it. Facebook, I know, I believe it was Pinder was talking about this last night, with social media and whatnot, that we've become so disconnected, and we see ourselves as isolated in an island, and we're not. And all we have to do is get to know our neighbors again. That was one thing that I always think about when with Trump's Make America Great Again, is it's not that we're not great now, it's that the things that got us to where we're at are not as prevalent because society is changing a little bit and technology is changing drastically. I dislike Facebook too. I think it's even more toxic than Twitter. But it's something that we've got next door neighbors. When's the last time you've talked to more than one of your next door neighbors? I live in town, so I've got, it's a small town, but I've got neighbors. I try to touch base with them at least a few times a month, if not weekly. You know, and we vary in it. There's a couple that he's a Afghanistan vet, some pretty serious PTSD. So I like to make sure that we keep in touch with them to make sure that he realizes he's grounded. We've got an elderly, well, I shouldn't say elderly. They're not really elderly. They're retired. Couple that lives behind us that are great people, and you know, the kind of people that you call up when you're on vacation. They could just walk over and make a walk around the house, make sure all the windows are still closed and the doors are shut. And I've got another truck driver that lives on the other end of the block from me, so that, you know, keeping roots in that reality that we are a part of a community, and not just the people on our block, but the people across the street, the people across town. I know it's a lot easier in a small town, but it's not impossible in a big town either. And Facebook is dying a slow death, but I don't think Facebook needs to die. I think part of this whole community thing, the idea of Facebook is such a fantastic idea that it's just, it brought out the poisonous self that we have been for so long have been taught that, you know, what's the old adage from the Bambi movie? If you can't say something nice, don't say anything at all. Well, it's okay to say things that aren't nice if they're true and you do it respectfully. That's the problem with Facebook and the whole social media thing, is if you're not a face-to-face encounter, if you don't know the people you're talking to, if you have anonymity, it's very easy to be toxic and poisonous and very hurtful, because there's no repercussion to it. If I'm toxic to my neighbor, I might get poked in the nose. And if I'm being toxic, I deserve to get poked in the nose. If I'm being hurtful just for the sake of being hurtful, but I think in this community that we have going, we've got such a strong group of people who are willing to hear other people talk, willing to let other people talk, and being able to respectfully voice our agreement or disagreement with those people that are our friends and a community. It's more than just friends, because when I think of friends, I think of people that I see really regularly, that maybe I've known for a long time or share a lot of interests with, that I can call up any day, any night, and interact with on a regular basis. And community, I think, is so much different than that. I think that community is something that's much beyond friends. It's something that needs to be cultivated even stronger than friendships do, even more regularly. It's the garden that you can't leave for a second, because the weeds will creep in. And if you keep after it, you stay on top of it, and everybody, it's the one plant in a garden that everyone has to watch, and everyone has to make sure is watered, and everybody has to make sure that the ivy isn't growing over it and the bugs aren't getting on it. It's an idea that we've lost, I think, or at least misplaced for now, that is something that is easy to recapture. I think it really is. I think it's something that we can, with just a little bit of tending, we can bring back the community that is the United States. I mean, think about, we just had 9/11 yesterday. Think about how you felt. And I don't care if you're from the U.S. or if you're from Britain or Australia or New Zealand or any other country that has a fond warmness towards the United States. Think of how we felt as a planet, as a world community, as a community within the United States on September 12th, on September 13th, September 14th. We were tight. We were unified. We felt that feeling. Think about back in the early 1980s, the Challenger, when it exploded. Think of how we felt closeness and togetherness. It doesn't take a tragic event like that to recapture that closeness and that togetherness. It tends that happens after a tragic event, but I think it's something that's easily achievable on a day-to-day basis. And we're humans, we get bored with stuff, so I understand how it's easy to fall away from that, and that's why I use the garden analogy, because it is something that needs to be tended every single day. It's not, it's like your Christian faith. If you're a Christian, you can't be a Christian on Sunday and be just whatever the rest of the week. It's something that has to be tended daily. They're not the same as they were then. Well, I don't disagree with that they're not the same as they were, but I don't agree with that. I think that people can be the same as they were then. And the reason I say that is because we're built for community. Regardless of your beliefs, whether you're a Darwinist or a Christian or whatever your belief structure is, if you believe that we were evolved or built, we were evolved and built as like any other herd animal. Well, I do have a lot of faith in humanity, but I have faith in humanity because my Christian faith tells me how it ends, so it's kind of cheating. But and I know that the biblical prophecies too, where it says that it's going to decline before the end, and that's going to happen. But throughout, even through biblical prophecy, there's still people. I mean, look at the 144,000 that will be saved after everyone else is taken to heaven. There's still going to be that strength of community. There's still going to be that concern for one another. And I don't. This is far beyond just biblical too. This is how we're built as humans. It takes a really unusual type of person, a really different type of person to be able to live like, let's say, the shows on the Discovery Channel where these people go out into Alaska and live all by themselves for years. Well, if the one commonality to just about every one of those people is they've still got somebody else. They're not completely alone. Even the weirdest of the weird people still have somebody else they talk to or communicate with. We're not built to be alone. And if we are not, if we're not built to be alone, that means we have to be part of a community, whether it's 2 people or 2 million people. We still have to be part of a community. And as long as we, the Bears, and others like us, continue to grow the community that we're part of, that community will expand as well. The idea that we are here for not only our good, and this is one thing you're going to get to figure out in a quick period. I've got two. I was just talking to one of our coworkers this morning about this. My 2 biggest pet peeves are selfish people and men or women who don't take pride in their work. And I think that's one thing that the Bear community shares as well, is we are largely an unselfish group, and we take a lot of pride in and those that are on the bottom edge of that cost. One thing I've noticed with the Bears that I think is going to be another important aspect of the Face-to-Face with Bears show is that this community has meant so much to so many people that are on the fence, that know that there's something better out. Then they stumble across the Bears and find out that there is something better. And not only is there something better, there's a bunch of people just like I am, that were looking for something more, something to be a part of that wasn't what we know to be untrue, what we know to be being pushed for all the wrong. Whether that's what's happening in the modern church, whether it's what's happening in our local communities or with our kids and their isolationism, it's something that isn't lost, is I guess basically what I'm trying to say. I do have that faith in humanity. And the biggest reason I have that faith in humanity is because, again, that's how we're built. We're built to be a part of a community. But it takes work. And that's what this is doing for a lot of people. It's what it's done for me. There's been so many things that I have looked at differently within my own life that I had been letting slide, or I'll worry about it later, or, well, later's now. Later is now. Later is, if we all wait for later, it is going to get worse, and it is going to get harder to come back. And later it's like tomorrow. You never say, oh, hey, it's tomorrow. Well, no, it's not. It's today. So it's time to take care of later today. And I think I should probably wrap this one up right now. I'm really grateful to everybody that showed up and participated in the chat. I look forward when I get home tonight, zooming through the chat and checking out what everybody's had to say. I appreciate you being a part of this first test stream, and these are my thoughts from the road.